Hi, so this is my presentation for Chapter 1, and it is titled Psychology, the Study of Mind and Behavior. So basically there are different branches of psychology, but they all aim to study the mind and behavior, and they all do this through science. So a little bit of history. Psychology dates back all the way to Aristotle and Plato. Just goes to show that we have always been curious about our mind and our behaviors. And Aristotle and Plato is basically where the whole debate between nature and nurture started, because Plato believed that he believed in the nature aspect of it, meaning that he believed that all our behaviors are innate, meaning we were just born with them, while Aristotle believed that behavior is learned by our environment, that our environment shapes our behavior. So as time goes on, psychology evolves, and there are many different kinds of psychology, and I just chose a couple to talk about because there are very, very many. So the first one is cognitive psychology, which kind of focuses on how we think and how we learn and how we remember things. Psychoanalytic psychology, a lot of people know this one because of Freud, but it focuses on our unconscious mind and how that affects our behavior. And then on the other hand, behaviorism is the focus on the external factors, our external environment, and how that shapes our behavior. Then in response to psychoanalytic and behaviorism, came about humanism, which sort of just, instead of focusing on the negative, it focuses on the positive, where it focuses on our need for love and acceptance and reaching our potential. So basically, like I said earlier, there are lots of different kinds of psychology, but they all use science to study the mind. So they all have they all follow the scientific attitude, which is, you need curiosity and skepticism and humility to study science properly. And then they all follow the scientific method, which is where you develop a theory. And that theory will eventually lead to a hypothesis. And then you would conduct an experiment to see, to prove or reject, to accept or reject your hypothesis. And at the very end, you would analyze what you found in your experiment. And depending on what you found, you would either confirm your theory, reject your theory, or revise your theory and start the process all over again. And psychologists will use different kinds of experiments, such as case studies, surveys, and naturalistic observation. Case studies are very in-depth. They're usually just one or a small group of people that you would study. Surveys are mostly used for a large amount of people, and then naturalistic observation is when a psychologist would conduct an experiment where they would just observe and wouldn't manipulate any variables. And then on the side here, I just wanted to talk about something I thought was very, very important, and I feel like is a very big misconception, which is that correlation does not mean causation. So correlation is, a statistical value that's assigned to two variables that appear to have a relationship, whether that is positive or negative. So positive correlation would be when both variables increase or decrease. And then a negative correlation would be as one variable increases, the other one decreases, and vice versa. But it's important to note that the correlation doesn't necessarily mean that one of the variables is the direct cause for the other variable. It just shows that there is a relationship. So I think an example in our textbook is there's a positive correlation between countries where people eat a lot of chocolate and the number of Nobel Prize winners from that country. So there's a relationship between those, but it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you eat a lot of chocolate, you're more likely to win a Nobel Prize. And that's my presentation.